Welcome back, everyone. We continue live right here on Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani with you on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. It's 412-575-2600. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call where we talk with you. So looking at these games, I would expect, of course, Duke to beat Iona. Rhode Island and Oklahoma is a very interesting game. I really like what Rhode Island has done. I would think the way Oklahoma is playing, they're going to be eliminated, even though Trae Young is capable of scoring 40 points in this game. That'll be must-see. That's the first game on Thursday, but I like Rhode Island. And then Virginia Tech, Alabama, that's a close game. Love what Virginia Tech has done. I think Virginia Tech will win that game. They're going to have to contain Colin Sexton, who's been outstanding. And then number one, Villanova, you would expect to beat no matter who they play, LIU, Brooklyn, or Radford. By the way, again, sign up for our KDKA-TV Bracket Challenge. You can do so KDK.com and match your picks against our picks and my picks. And I'm going to fill that out tomorrow, so we'll tell you what we think of it. But it'll be very interesting throughout the course of this tournament, as it always is. All right, let's get right to it. Our job here is to take phone calls, and that's what I'm going to do, beginning with Natalie in West Mifflin. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Good. Hi, Pomp.
What's up?
I just want to tell you that I listen to you and Rich every night on Sports Call, and I want to thank you for your call-out tonight from PPG Paints Arena.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you know what? Your son.
Yes, Jim.
He had his phone. He told me, he says, say hi to my mom, Natalie. Now I get to do it in person, so thank you, Natalie. Hi to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything you want to talk about?
No, I just wanted to thank you.
Okay, well, you have a proud son. I'll tell you that. So.
Oh, thank you very much.
Congratulations. All right, thanks, Natalie. Appreciate that. Let's go out to Ken in Clearfield. Hey, Ken, how you doing?
Yeah, Bob. Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
The reason I called was, well, I love to call your show. You guys are the best talk show on TV.
We appreciate it.
The reason I called, the Penguins look great again tonight. They have a good bounce-back win. And the college basketball tournament, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma State beat Kansas twice. They beat Oklahoma twice. They did lose to them one time early in the year.
They should be
in. Notre Dame beat Syracuse at Syracuse, and Syracuse has a worse record than Notre Dame. I just can't figure that two things out.
I can't
like
either.
Your opinion on that.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Oklahoma State, if you had to choose between those two, 99% of the people would logically take Oklahoma State. I would too. Oklahoma doesn't deserve to be there, but they did because of the Trae Young factor and television ratings, and that's not fair. It really is. There are a lot of good teams out there who should have made it. Also, I think if you look at Notre Dame, if I had to pick between Notre Dame and Syracuse to play a game right now, Notre Dame would win 8 out of 10 of those games. Sorry, they would. And yet they don't get into the field. So I guess it's a subjective thing. And, we'll see how it goes. And if Syracuse can win, they got to play in that Dayton doubleheader coming up here first just to even get to the round of 64. So we'll talk about that. But I look at West Virginia, and I thought they got a bad seed as well. West Virginia played Kansas tough 3 different times. They went to the finals once again of the Big 12 tournament, had some impressive wins this year, and yet with 24 wins, they're a 5th seed, which I expected it to be better. In the East region, although they'll start in San Diego against Murray State, taking on the winner of Wichita State and Marshall. How about if it be Marshall and West Virginia, although I think West Virginia may be in trouble with Murray State. That's a pretty good team, and a 12 seed always seems to have the number of the 5 seed in this tournament as well. Let's go out to line 4 or 5. That would be Jim in Saxonburg. What's up?
Hi, Bob. I called in a while back, and I talked to Richie about Pitt recruiting, and we had a disagreement. I want to hear your opinion on it. His thing is, what's Pittsburgh got to offer a recruit? The University of Pittsburgh. And Pitt brags about how they keep all these local recruits. And my argument was, take the Lady Huskies from Connecticut. Last 20 years, no one's won more than them. And why do they recruit? Hartford, Connecticut don't got no more to offer than Pittsburgh. Why do they win? It's because their coaches get out of the car, get on an airplane, and go across the country and get people. Take their starting 5.
Yeah, but their program sells itself. Whenever you win as much as they've won, how many undefeated seasons have they had? I think it's 6
Case in point, good coaching. It doesn't matter what the city is. It's what you go. Their point guard comes from Texas. They got a 3-point shooter coming from California. Nice comes from Alberta, Canada.
Right. I get your point, but I still think Pitt does have a lot to offer that goes beyond whatever
I agree.
Sport.
If they would get out their car and go out to California,
but also it has to be, you have to show some semblance of, number 1, winning, and number 2, showing support for the program, and number 1 will take care of number 2. If you win But that's the problem right now. They're in a situation where people are not coming out. It's apathetic. If you bring a recruit in to watch a Pitt game, wherever it may be, they're not going to be all that impressed when you go to other places that fill big stadiums and it's a raucous atmosphere. So, I think it starts there. So this coaching hire is going to be a very big one. But first and foremost, I wish that Heather and all the people there on that board and just get this Stallings things behind you. It looks bad optically. It's not good to continue to fight over this buyout, which is written in writing, and you're trying to figure out ways to cut it cheaper. Just do it. Get it over with and move on to your next hire, whoever that may be, because you're also sending the wrong message to that next potential hire. Is this how Pitt does business? It doesn't look good. So to me, I'd get it over with as soon as possible. Let's go to Tim in South Park. What's up, Tim? How are you?
Bob, two quick questions. Sure. First of all, the offsides tonight with Malkin, I agree with it. It was clearly offside.
It wasn't clearly offside. It was because of the rule offside. I don't think it was clear at all. I thought he straddled the line. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Well, the Pens won a playoff series with a review of
right, and they're lucky. That was the call. I understand, but to me, I think that rule is so nitpicky. You know, you start with replay, and the more you go with replay, in my opinion, Tim, it gets worse. Because look what's happened to the NFL with the catch rule, and because replay is so good right now, there were catches that are legitimate catches that have been overturned into incompletions. Des Bryant, for example, Calvin Johnson, for example, and Jesse James, for example. So that's why now they're in a quandary. And I think the same is true with this. You're going to influence the outcome of a game because if Malkin's skate was off the ice by a fraction, that's it. He still straddled the blue line. The intent is straddle the blue line.
Agree, Bob. I agree with that.
That's what I don't like.
Agree.
This is why you start opening Pandora's box when it comes to replay. The more of it you do, the more of these situations, because it's so good. Technology has improved. So I appreciate
Quick Tiger Woods question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Why does Tiger Woods get a pass for he turns the needle, but he did something wrong in life? In our hometown here, another athlete did something not so great in life, but Tiger Woods continues to turn the needle. Why is that? Why do you think that?
Well, he's a guy who's paid his dues, I think, based on all of that. To me, that was something that happened that because he's a public figure came way out. And he admitted it was all wrong. And then, what's he have to do? Go into hibernation the rest of his life? He's tried to come back, and he's paid his price. He hasn't won in a long time. He's had back surgeries, and now he's back. He's good for the game. I don't see anything wrong. You could separate the issues. If you don't like him as a person, Tim, that's fine. If you like him as a golfer, as I do, that's fine too. I still don't think he's going to win because I think the competitive field is too good anymore. But what I saw this week was very encouraging if you're a Tiger Woods fan.
I watched every hour of his performance. Yeah.
I was just talking to our producer, Jared, coming down here, and I said the same thing. I think you get transfixed. You don't want to leave the television, do you? Because every shot matters.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the call. Let's go out to line one. That's Wayne in reserve. Hey, Wayne, how are you?
Bob, how you doing tonight?
Good, thanks.
Hey, I talked to you one time about this before. I want to get you to start announcing these Penguin games because you are the guy that should be doing it.
Well, listen, I appreciate that. I think those guys are doing a wonderful job. Steve Mears does an excellent job. Josh Getzoff does, and, of course, the Hall of Famer Mike Lang. And I thought Paul Steigerwald did a very good job all these years, too. So they're in good hands.
I'm telling you, you're a very well speaker. I listen to you. You know what you're doing. I think he should give you a chance to take a chance.
Well, that's a whole different. But I appreciate the thought. I just try to do the best I can here, which is my job.
You are good, man.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. All right, one more call, and then we'll go to break, and that will be Jim in Salzburg. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Oh, it's Jim Banksville. Anyhow,
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I think Kevin Stallings got a bad deal, and I think Dixon saw this coming. ACC Big East, their recruiting base was basically in New York. They didn't want to get at ACC. So, I think they needed a different recruiting base. Stallings just was caught in a bad place. That's all.
Well, it was a tough job, although he still had enough last year, I think, to do better than 4 conference wins. I thought last year was actually worse than this year with what they had to deal with and work with. I thought this year with all new freshmen, I could have seen a scenario. I said I was on the fence with this. If they wanted to bring him back for another year, I wouldn't have had a big problem with it. You sort of have to build. He had some transfers coming in. He also had a couple of pretty decent recruits to add to this mix. Was it going to be enough to win an ACC championship? Of course not. But could it have been enough to go from 0 wins to maybe 7 or 8 in conference? Who knows? If you get the right mix and coach them up. But the point was, they could. It was a perfect storm to get rid of him. They weren't winning. People weren't coming out. There's apathy. They had to do something. Plus, he was not Heather Likes hire. We'll take a break. Come back with more calls. It's 412-575-2600. And don't forget about the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown tonight, 11:35. We're live right after the late news on KDKA. Back in a flash.